Most producers think clarity is just about boosting the highs or slapping on a plugin like fresh air. But if your lows are muddy, mids are crowded, or highs are harsh, no single plugin can save your mix. In this video, I'm breaking down how I treat vocals across all three zones: lows, mids, and highs, using a layered approach that builds clarity without sacrificing the tone. I'll start with simple fixes beginners can try, then show you the exact approach level I personally use to make vocals sound polished, clean, and professional. So if you've asked, why do my vocals still sound dull even after EQ and compression, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hey guys, my name is Tati Music, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. And yes, I've been seeing so many of you guys subscribing to the channel, liking the videos, commenting on the videos. Please don't stop, continue doing that. And seeing the growth of this channel, guys, we're so close on hitting our first 1,000 subscribers. After we've hit that first subscribers milestone, I have things that I want to do. Like, I'll be releasing a course where I will be showing you guys a step-by-step guide on how to actually mix vocals, how I personally like to mix vocals without anything, covered, without YouTube's limitations. I'll be taking you from a beginner to a pro level producer. Even if you're a professional producer, guys, you would learn something on this course that I will actually release. And then also on the same course, I will actually do another part of the course where I'll be mastering a whole song from start to finish, taking you from a beginner mastering engineer to a professional mastering engineer. You will actually have knowledge of everything that you want to know about mastering. Same goes as you will know everything that you want to know about mixing production. It will be available as a free course for a limited time to celebrate our first 1,000 subscribers on the channel. And then after releasing the course, I will also start doing lives where I'm actually mixing live, or sometimes even making beats, because I also make beats, guys. So I think that would be a good way to bond with you guys. So just subscribe before you forget, so that you can actually push the time a bit more faster. So we need that 1,000 subscribers, guys. So subscribe now, subscribe now, subscribe now, so that you can actually hit that milestone, and then you'll have your free course that will be available for a limited time only. And then after that, I'll actually sell it. So yeah. Okay guys, and welcome. So this is a song we're working on. It's called Qualities. Most of you know the song. It's a very, very beautiful song to actually teach you guys some things so that you can actually learn. Very, very beautiful song. Out now everywhere. This is how it sounds like, and then I will talk you through why it sounds like this.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me. I hope my daddy's looking down on me. When I look up, I pray I see a star that beam. Reassure me that he's there for me. February 22, ilang kaswa figure, so I'm no longer the last of the dying breed. Head over structure, priorities. Every cent that I have got a mini-me. Buy diapers and cater to every need. Couldn't even afford to buy me a pair of jeans. I had bags under my eyes that night I couldn't sleep.
Very, very beautiful song. It's out now everywhere. It's called Qualities, part of Branches of Divine Reflection album. What you just heard right now is preset from the golden template. This is the preset that we're working on. As you can see that on the preset, there are a lot of plugins that are turned off. Lots of plugins. So as you can see that there's Filter Pro Q4 completely empty. There's Suit 2, there's Channel Strip, Virtual Mix Rack also empty, and then we have Harmonix Analog also on its default. So guys, there are problems on this vocal that you need to attack. We're actually addressing vocal clarity by breaking down the frequency spectrum in three zones, which are the lows, the mids, and the highs. We will first focus on the lows. So focusing on the lows, guys, we're talking about from 0 Hz to around 250 Hz. Those are the lows, guys, on the frequency spectrum for vocals, for most vocals. Most common problems you'll find on vocals on this zone, on the lows, you will find maybe muddy or boomy vocals. And also you would find on this zone, you will find masking from the beats kick or bass. And there's a whole lot more that you will find on this zone, the lows. The easiest way to fix this one while working on a vocal will be high pass filtering around at 80 hertz to 120 hertz. This is what I mean.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me.
As you can see that there's too much boominess on this vocal. So the easiest way you can do is to open your Filter Pro Q4. You can use any parametric EQ or you can use any dynamic EQ. It works.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me. I hope my daddy's looking down on me. When I look up,
it's at around 80 hertz.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me.
As you can see that above 120, it's where the vocal becomes a bit, weird, and that bass starting to actually go away from the vocal. That is what we don't want on this vocal. We want to be in between. We want to be in between around 80 to 120 hertz. So let's go back a bit.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me.
And now the vocal feels a lot more like a normal vocal. We are actually sitting on around 80 hertz, guys, since it's a male vocal. But if the vocal was a bit more like a female vocal, we would have pushed it to around 100 hertz or to around 120 hertz. Not more than that and not less than that, guys. This is why this works when you're looking for a quick fix for that muddiness or boominess on a vocal. And before you click away thinking that that's all you need to do, well, you have something coming your way. So that was the most easiest way to take care of the boomy or muddy frequencies on your vocals. Now let's do something better. We are still on the lows. So this is another way that you would do this. Let's say you're working on a beat. Now let's shift away a bit from the vocals. Let's say there's that muddiness. Maybe the producer didn't produce well, didn't mix the beat well. So for a beat, guys, I will go on a different direction from what we just did. On a beat, guys, you wouldn't roll off 80 to 120 hertz on a beat. It wouldn't work, guys. You would actually take space for a lot of things like the kicks, the 808s, the bass, and so on. So that wouldn't work on a beat. But what would work is a multi-band compressor or a dynamic EQ, also like this Pro Q4, but not rolling off, but doing something else. So for this example, I will use a multi-band compressor. And this time, we are not cutting what you don't see. We are cutting something when it only appears. We are cutting the boominess when it sounds like there's boominess in this, in that section of the beat. So this thing, guys, is around 0 to around 200 hertz. So if you're actually working on a kick, I wouldn't recommend to do this thing drastically. Here, you will only do this thing if maybe the kick is actually disturbing you. It's actually acting as a filter now, which means this thing is too loud or more on this beat. So we don't need something that is too aggressive. We need something that is subtle, guys, to take care of that muddiness of this beat. Then you can play with the release and attack. Now let's open the beat. Now, in a very, very subtle way, this thing has took care of the problems of this beat on the low section of this beat. The beat had a lot of boominess on that bass line, which means when I was actually making this beat, the volume was too high on the bass line. As you just saw, guys, that this thing works on so many levels, focusing on the lows. What works mostly for vocals doesn't mean it will work for the instrumental or the beat. So you must make sure that, guys, when you're doing these things, you don't take it as a general knowledge, but take it as something that will work for that specific moment, specific part or section of the song you're working on. So this was the better way on how you would actually attack similar problems on instrumental. Now, this is what I always like to do. I call it the professional way because it's what the pros also do. I would combine the EQ that we just used on the vocals. We are going back to the vocals now. And then I will combine it with a saturation plugin to tighten the lows and add clarity without killing the board. We have here what we did last, which was taking care of that low end. So now we need to actually also have some clarity on this vocal without killing the body. So we will open our harmonics analog saturation processor, guys, this one. So the first thing first, we are going to choose the type of saturation we want on this vocal. We have solid, we have transfer, we have master, we have tube, we have modern. I think it's called transfer, guys, but it's called trans. So correct me if I'm wrong. The type of saturation you're looking for here, you're looking for something like a master or tube. Why? It's because, guys, these two are smooth and musical. Master adds fullness without control, while tube adds warm, low richness. So here, I will actually choose master, guys. I just love how it sounds like it adds fullness with control on the vocal.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing.
The next thing that you need to do is to actually work on the amount of the drive and character. I prefer you start at around 2 to 6 when boosting this thing. When working on these two knobs, subtle is key. Too much of these two things will add mud on your vocal. You must work on these things just enough to round the lows and add harmonic content on your vocal.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me. I hope my daddy's looking down on me. When I look up, I pray I see a star that beam. Reassure me that he's there for me. February 22, ilaungaswa figure, so I'm no longer the last of the dying breed. Head over structure, priorities. Every cent that I have got a mini-me. Buy diapers and cater to every need. Couldn't even afford to buy me a pair of jeans. I had bags under my eyes that night I couldn't sleep.
You can actually feel the vocal becoming a bit more cleaner and actually has some character on it. We're just using these two plugins, the EQ, which is this one, and the saturation, which is this one. Now for the mid frequencies. So working on the mids, we are working from something that is from 250 Hz to around 3000 Hz. Those are your mid frequencies, mainly for vocals and for beats as well. So the common problems that you will find in these frequencies, you will find boxy, muffled or nasal frequencies on vocals. And for something like instruments, you will find overcrowding or clashing with other instruments, which is something that you can fix maybe when you're actually making the beat. But for vocals, guys, the most easiest way I would fix this thing is actually scooping out frequencies from around 400 Hz to around 600 Hz using an EQ. So guys, that is like cutting something. So I want to show you the better way. Better way is actually identifying bad frequencies on your mid frequencies and tame them dynamically, guys. So this is how I would actually do it. So guys, we actually need to go back to Pro Q4.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me.
The nice thing about working with Proq4 are these red things. The red things, guys, the red, highlights actually showing you that there's a problem with that frequency. You need to actually work on it. So let's decrease it. Let's do it like this.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me. Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me. Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean.
There's a reason why I'm using spectral shaping on the higher mids of the vocal and the lower mids of the vocal, because a spectral shaping doesn't work as your dynamic shaping, guys, as your dynamic EQ. So using a spectral shaping, guys, I am trying to let the EQ only work on those specific frequencies that are a problem. Because if maybe I used a dynamic EQ here, the dynamic EQ doesn't work on specific, it works on everything you have selected or highlighted in that area. So guys, that was a better way to do this thing. So what I would actually add to take this thing from better to a more professional way, I would actually use something like a channel strip EQ. Combine it with something like a stereo saturation. But for a stereo saturation this time, I'm not going to use that harmonics analog saturation that you used. I'm going to use something like a revival to add some thickness, guys. If you have bought the golden template, we have these presets. These are the main presets on the golden voice. These are the presets that you can use for every vocal that you have. It mainly for singing vocals, rapping vocals, and so on, guys. So guys, we are not going to start afresh here on the E channel. This is a channel strip, by the way. We are not going to start afresh here because we already, guys. So as you can see here that we have actually shaped the tone of this vocal. Now listen how it sounds like.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me. I hope my daddy's looking down on me. When I look up, I pray I see a star that beam. Reassure me that he's there for me. February 22, so I'm.
As you can tell that the clarity is working wonderful on the song. So we'll open our virtual mix track. And then on our virtual mix track, we need to open something like a revival. Let's find the revival. This is the revival. So remember that here we are focusing, guys. We are focusing on something that will add some thickness on it. So guys, this is to control and enhance mids instead of just cutting them out. That is why we're actually shaping this vocal this way. So for the revival, guys, we're actually going to work mostly on thickness. We also work on shimmer, but mostly on thickness because we want that rich sound of the vocal.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me.
21 dB, and then boosting the shimmer to around 6 dB. It actually made the vocal to sound rich and to enhance the overall control of the mids of this vocal. So guys, now we are going to work on the highs. So when working on the highs, we're working from frequencies that's around 3000 Hertz to around 15,000 Hertz. Those are your highs. And the most common problems that you'll find on these frequencies are actually your vocals sounding dull, lifeless, or harsh. In my 10 years as a music producer working on vocals and other things, these are the most three common problems that I found mostly on vocals, mainly on that top end perspective or top end frequencies. So to fix this thing, most of you would make a very, very beautiful chain, very, very wonderful preset that has everything that you would need in a vocal. And then when it's time to fix that clarity, to have control of that clarity, you would slap on that Fresh Air plugin. Mixing, guys, is about working hand in hand, working with each other. We have a preset here, guys, that you see. If I would slap on Fresh Air on this vocal and boost the top end of this vocal, it will instantly ruin this whole chain that we've worked hard to get here. In a professional way, this is how I would use it. Making sure that this plugin is working with other plugins. We already have channel strip EQ, which we boosted the top and the clarity of this vocal. We already have something like virtual mix rec, which we also boosted the shimmer, which is the top clarity of the vocal. We also have our harmonics analog saturation processor, guys, which is saturation, also boosted the character to around 6. That is also the clarity of your vocal. So now if I would put on fresh air, this is fresh air, and then boost the clarity of this vocal to around 70, 60, like most of you do, then that means, guys, I am actually ruining this whole process, this whole thing that we've worked hard for to get here on the stage. But if I really wanted that top end, this is how I would use fresh M. Use it on a subtle way. Make it connect with other plugins.
Man, I wanna keep it real while I'm living a dream. Stress free, if you know what I mean. Mommy always wanted me to get a college degree, but then this life thing had other plans for me. I hope my JD's looking down on me. When I look up, I pray I see a star that beam. Reassure me that it's there for me. February 22, ilang gaswa figure, so I'm no longer the last of the dying breed. Head of restructure priorities. Every cent that I have got a mini-me. Buy diapers and cater to every need. Couldn't even afford to buy me a pair of jeans. I had bags under my eyes at night I couldn't sleep.
So now you've seen it. Clarity is not a one-click trick. It's about strategic moves in each frequency zone. From cutting low and mud, taming mid-range clutter, to adding smooth top and shimmer. It all works together. The best results happens when your tools are not fighting each other, but working as a team. If you find this valuable, drop a comment below with your favorite clarity tip. Or if you want the full preset that we used today, it's on our golden template, on our golden voice preset. Within the golden template, you will find the whole preset there. And if you're serious about growing as a producer, subscribe and stick around. We are just getting started. See you on the next one.